I showed Dave. Let's get rid of that little guy. Okay, you guys are all set. Yep.
Okay. I call to order the quarterly meeting of the Board of Zoning Appeals of Town of Harpers Ferry. Today is February 7th, 2022. Present are me, David Simmons, the chairman. I'll have everyone introduce themselves as we go.
Lynn Petriconis.
Chad Gautier.
And we was. And we're actually going to have our election for officers, so I call myself the chair, kind of the lead, but I was the past chair, I guess.
I think that's an easy shoe-in right there.
So, first order of business is to look at the agenda and see if there, we'll have to get a motion to approve the agenda. And we can discuss if anyone wants to make any changes. So I need a motion to approve the agenda for today.
I'll make a motion to approve it.
Second.
Okay, any discussion on changing the order or?
I didn't see anything.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All abstain? Abstain. Okay. All right, so first order of business is the approval of the minutes from our January 10th hearing on the Pewitt fence. That's been circulated. And Willis wasn't present, so I'm looking for a motion from someone to approve the minutes as presented.
I make a motion to approve the minutes.
Need a second?
I'll second.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And David abstain?
I'm sorry, what's the first motion for the agenda?
Yeah,
Sorry.
that's right. Now we'll do the election of the officers. So this is always fun because last year when we did this, we couldn't get a secretary out of the deal. If you remember. So there's a little arm twisting that goes on during this process. I'm willing to be chair again, but I'm willing to step away just like last year. If anyone else wants to be chair.
I'll nominate Dave Simmons.
Yeah, and I would just like to say you're doing an excellent job. And
Sure.
we are really happy that you're chairman and willing to take that post again.
Okay. Does that mean I don't want to be chairman? I think that's really what you're saying, but okay. That's fine. All those in favor of David Simmons being chair?
Aye.
Okay. So we also have a vice chair and a secretary. So vice chair sits in when I'm not here, or if I recuse myself, which has happened. So, and they run the meetings. So, anyone interested in becoming vice chair?
I would like to nominate Ed Lewis as vice chair.
Okay. I hope Ed's interested. I'll second Ed as chair.
Well, if it's not just the secretary.
Yeah, that's usually how it works. Okay, all those in favor of Ed?
Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous. Okay, and now secretary.
I would like to nominate Lynn Petriconis.
Okay. I'll second Lynn Petriconis as secretary. Any discussion? All those in favor?
I need to have a fourth position.
Yeah.
Is the vice, well, let's make him backup secretary since he's.
I would gladly take that as secretary.
All right.
It's something else to do.
Position open. Trying to think what the expiration. I think you're. Where are those minutes from before? Just so you know.
Oh, that's not the next one.
Maybe 2 years from date this meeting.
I don't have them open. Hold on, because I want Ed to know. I think at the end of this year, Ed, you are.
I think that's what.
Yeah, those 2 seats are end of this year. So
Because he's taking Mike's place pretty much, right?
or Chris's, whichever. Yeah, they both have that same. So yeah, just so you know, and we still have alternates open. So 3 alternates. Okay.
Do we have anybody that would be potentially interested, or we could look into? Any thoughts about anyone we could approach?
We talk about it all the time.
Yeah. You think of anybody in?
Can you remind me, is there a residency minimum
It's 3 years and then everyone.
It's 3 years. I mean, that's a big question if the alternates have to be 3 years. I think they do.
Yeah, because they would serve in the same capacity if somebody wasn't
I know.
able to have to recuse themselves. I would think that would make sense.
Part of the policy, because it's written.
Planning has different
Yeah, I remember that.
seats.
Yeah, a certain number of seats after three.
It's hard to find somebody that's been here for 3 years that hasn't served on something or is
Right.
already serving
Right, that's.
or hasn't put
Yeah,
their
the
time in.
alternate members must meet the same eligibility requirements as regular members and will serve a 3-year term. So, yeah.
Have the 3-year residency.
So, yeah, keep thinking about it. It was nice to have the alternates. Okay, we had a town budget request is the next item on the agenda. So I think February 21st, we need to give them a request for budget items. So I talked to Pat Morse about like signage and things like that that have to happen through Kevin, and they're handling that piece of the budget. So we're not really responsible for that. And last year we asked for secretarial help. We didn't get a secretary, so they can get some money, and that got rejected. So we didn't get any. So before when I first got on the board, we didn't even have discussions about budget or any monetary needs we would have. So
Other than some attorney time, what are we looking at? That I mean,
And that's
maybe
a
like a
separate line
stapler or
item.
some blank paper.
yeah, not even that. We just use town resources.
Yeah, what would we draw money for?
Yeah.
And as far as like for newspaper announcements, that's covered by either the permit fee or what Patty's.
Yeah. She's covering that too. That was the only thing that varies on the size of the notice, but it can be pretty high. It's in the $500 range actually when you do this for 2 weeks in a row.
The notices in the paper.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
I didn't either. I found that out this last month.
But they need something from us.
Not necessarily. If we don't have anything, I can just send an email saying we don't have any budget requests. We need a new nameplate for Chad Godia is what we need.
I'm just gonna table it to later. That's fine.
Move.
Well, is there something in the before that you were thinking about that might involve money?
To me, last year we wanted some secretarial help to help with administrative things. I thought that was a good request, and we just need a little bit. But I mean, if Lynn's willing to do the taking the notes and running around and getting the notes where we need to go, I think we're okay. Maybe we ask for a little bit of money in case Lynn, can't do it, and we want someone to step in it. We could do something like that. I don't know.
Well, if she couldn't do it, one of us would have to take it to task their regular scheduled meeting. So I don't see how that would.
But you could be secretary, but they could, let's say you're really in your busy season building or something, and you're like, okay, someone could be taking notes. You can just make sure they're correct,
Right.
And they're doing all the running around and typing. They're here taking the notes. They're not voting. You're voting. You can do that, but.
Even that dollar figure you would put to that.
I worked with them last year, and we were like, I forget what we came up with, like 4 hours a month times 12 months is what we did, and $50 an hour. I mean, it wasn't much. Yeah. So, I don't know. How do you guys feel about it? I'm kind of indifferent, honestly.
But if we ask for it, don't use it. Does it sit or go back? How does that work? I mean, just we just ask for $300, $500.
In case we need it.
But you kind of have to
specify what it's.
Yeah, I think they want to see.
Yeah, why we're asking for.
Well,
What do you think, Dan?
I don't know, for years, I was on Lineworks and we never asked for anything because there really weren't any expenses.
Is there anything wrong, like we run into something that we need funds for to ask at that time, or some kind of, reimburse that you pay out of pocket?
I mean, having an attorney at the meetings would be one that but they have an attorney line item in the budget and it just kind of, it doesn't really have I don't even think that has a scope associated with it when you've done budget for.
Yeah, that's all kind of as needed.
Yeah,
It covers everything like a blanket kind of.
wherever it's
There
there.
you are.
Yeah, I mean, it's always just a swag.
Right.
You know,
Then I would say,
and I haven't gotten I haven't gotten a response back from Kinsler about the questions I had either, but that's when we would want an attorney present in our hearing, so couldn't even put an into that right now. I'll just tell me we don't have a request. I'm sure if you guys are okay with that.
Yes.
I'm all right with that.
Would you ever need a substitute for Kevin Hamilton?
It's not
In his acquisition.
I know, like he's not just, he's mostly zoning, he's not just zoning, so I think that comes out of a different, just like the signage, the permit stuff, they're handling that in the office. I think that'd be the same, like an office personnel backup thing. Because we had a temp for a while doing the town clerks and work, so.
is that something we need to vote on, you think?
We can make it official that we're not requesting anything, so I move that we tell the town officials that we do not need any budget monies this year.
Second.
All those in favor? Okay. And the last item is permit process. That's kind of a standing topic for these meetings. So at the last meeting, I said I spoke with Mayor Vaughn, talked about putting together an RFP or an RFQ, or request for qualification, request for proposal to get planning and engineering help. He asked that Ed assist us with that, and we've been trying to schedule a meeting with him for the last couple of weeks and haven't been able to pull it off. So we're gonna hopefully happen this week.
Yeah, Bird's been pretty busy with other.
Yeah, so maybe next week too. So I was out of town last week, so it's hard to do. So we'll try to get that together. But I've got a couple of I have an RFP example from Morgantown. I have an example from the West Virginia Land Use and Sustainability Institute, or Institute of Land Use and Sustainability. And I've talked with them on the phone, and they actually can help us as a town. They sort of consult the towns and do exactly what I was describing to them, is like helping us create a good permit system and actually taking phone calls when Kevin has questions. They can be on call. So I'm actually very encouraged by what the town might be able to do.
No, is this state run program?
It's through WVU.
Okay.
So it's not a state run program. It's just they have this land and they have this probably a program at WVU. I'm sure there's classes students can take. Professors there also consult the towns and they've helped. I think they've helped Morgantown put together some programs and been on call, and some other small towns. When I was talking to them, they said they never anticipated that they would be sort of consultants to towns, but the towns kept calling and needing help, and it just grew. So okay, that sounds like perfect. So.
Well, we don't have any dollar figure associated with that, so we can.
No, we got to put the RFQ together, and then put put some money to it and see if the town council's up for that. So it'd be nice to do it sooner than later because the budget talks are coming up this month. So yeah. That's where that stands. Nothing else you guys, if you guys want to talk about anything related to that.
No.
Yeah.
So just to familiarize myself, I know there was some discussion about whether BZA can do all its deliberations in private or if that's only for appeals. Was there any settled decision on that?
I should give you, we gave Lynn and Chad sort of a booklet, a binder, and I should get that to you. And it has like some of the decisions we got from Kinsare about what you can and can't do in deliberation. And they're not, if they're called private deliberations, it's not executive session. And we can go into private deliberations and we're making a decision on a permit. It's pretty, it seems pretty open-ended. I'll get you the documents. I'm glad you said that because I realized I should be doing that. I don't know if we've had any getting money together for that.
So this may be part of when we're talking about the permit process and getting consulting on how to do that and all. I'm just wondering, is there a way that when we give a permit to someone, grant a permit, there's a process for always going back and checking to make sure that the homeowner, property owner did what he said they were going to do?
Yeah, I see. That's one of the things I see lacking is like inspections. Like there should be standard inspections for, like when you built McIntyre House, did he?
Residentially, there is, yeah, there's footings, framing, and finish final. But say go back to Q, we approve their fence. Just can go back and inspect that and make sure it is where it needs to be and those things.
Yeah.
You know, this is the follow-up, and it could be as minute as, you know, whatever applicant is going in, up to, you know, full new residential structure. So, but it would seem that to me, like Kevin would have to have initial conversation or meeting, review what they have, like we discussed in the last meeting. If it's approved, then follow up either through the steps that are required, or if it's a small project, that there's finalized some kind of, you know, the certificate of occupancy I found in this file, I'm supposed to put it in round one, but something like that.
Yeah.
Possibly, Kevin?
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah, so it kind of closes the loop on everything.
Yeah.
You know, they put the fence, oh, we just push the fence
It's
5
built
feet back
where
there.
it said it was.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Or
It's,
like we asked Mr. Hewitt to provide a plan that showed exactly where you ended up putting the fence.
Mhm. Yeah, and our request back to the permit application, it should also be information that Kevin should have. Because if we're asking for that information, really that's ultimately not only goes in that file, but Kevin should have that information and go out and say, hey, okay, this is.
yeah. I mean, he went to George Owens. He contacted George Owens.
Yeah.
He got George to say, yes, I'm okay with him connecting to my fence, boom, 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 you know. And but still there's that piece of, okay, we still need that final drawing that gets in the file. It shows where the fence landed on your property so that the file is complete. You can file it away. Someone can find it later. I mean,
Eventually.
yeah, hopefully.
I mean, you know, what's the statute of limitations on something? How long do we have to keep that information? And are we truly creating a file for each one?
Theoretically, yes. But that would be another thing that this firm could help us with is like maybe giving us some good practices for filing, because I think it's usually a mess back there.
And speaking of which, is there a public archive of decisions? Not necessarily permit applications, but like matters of appeals and interpretation of the ordinances.
Yeah, all of our stuff theoretically is online, although I've found deficiencies. So try to work with Kevin Carter and getting some things up there. I haven't looked in a little while. But all of our meeting minutes, and which would have our votes, would be there. It's not summarized anywhere an easy way to find, though, really. It's like you just see a date and minutes and you really don't know the topic when you look at it. That would be a nice thing for people to have. That thing I'll give you was an attempt to do that with like our deliberation question, you know, how do we, when can and when shouldn't we do those things? There's some interpretations in there that are helpful that I'm trying to keep memorialized and keep going for future BZAs. But, you know, will that continue? I don't know. I honestly forgot already to give it to you. So there you go. But yeah. And one of the, I actually talked to a town in Washington State today, and they had an RFP that the W Land Institute gave me, and it looked like a lot of what we're trying to do. So I actually called and said, okay, so we put this out in 2020. What are you doing now? You know, how's it working? And it turns out their planner resigned, and now this planning and engineering firm is like really helpful, she said. And she's like, we're not sure we're going to hire a planner now. They're that good, and it seems affordable. So maybe that's where this goes. I don't know. But they help them with interpreting the rules, and they understand the definitions in the rule. You know, they have an experience with it that helps them a lot, and do a lot of administrative, making sure that application packages are complete, which is really good, really important. So, and they'll field questions. If they can't answer them in the office, they'll put them off to the consultant. The consultant will respond back to them and help them that way. Yeah.
That sounds like a nice flow of information.
Yep. No, it's really good.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, so that's kind of the idea behind the whole permit process discussion. So keep brainstorming on that. You know, what you think makes it better. I think we have a ways to go. I think still. I think as a town, 2017 we did the ordinance. We did the big changes, and that was a heavy lift. But we left out the piece of like the infrastructure, you know, training, getting people understanding it so it works properly. I think that's the piece that I'm talking about now is helping get our ordinances working properly in our town processes.
Yeah, I think, do you know if Landmarks had talked about doing some educational outreach?
I don't think they've got very far on it. I think it's still like on their mind, but other things have commanded their attention, I think.
For the residency, sort of, or
Yeah. What it means to live in a historic district.
Yeah.
Yep. The expectations. Benefits.
okay. I don't have much more to add. You guys want to talk about anything else?
Make that we adjourn.
In a second.
Second.
All those in favor?
All right.
Aye.